Whoa, I went all the way off the fretboard there. What? Okay, we are talking about, what are we talking about? We're talking about guitar concepts. That's it, contemporary jazz guitar concepts. Exercise 1C. He lays out this cool idea, which is to play triads not starting on the root, but starting on the third. Right, and you go on, and he lays it out in position, which personally I find a little confusing. Some things for me are better laid out in position, scalar stuff, and other things are more easily and intuitively laid out in across the neck or various different ways. So I took this, and as he advises in the book, I really got into it and played around with it. And so I'm going to show a few different ways to express this idea about moving these triads around. So the first one in position is good, but the trick is if you want to learn and really explore these ideas, you're going to have to learn it in all of the positions. And there's really big chunks, each one of these positions. I get a little, I'm like, where am I going now? When I got to the end of working this through in position, there's C, D minor, E minor, F, G, A minor, B diminished, C, D minor, E minor, F. Now watch happens. Watch what happens. F, G, A minor, B diminished. Suddenly, when you move to the top three strings, the only logical thing to do is just move the triads up just as you would play them as chords. You would play, oh, okay, E minor, F, G, A minor, B diminished, and C. And that's the advantage that pianists have over us, really, if you think about it, is that whether they're playing melodically or harmonically, they're playing the same thing, you know? Whether they're grabbing it as a grip or whether they're playing one note at a time, they can use their fingers in the same way, which is a definite advantage in learning harmony. I happen to think that it'll be easier to do actually if you get better command over the triads in another way. So this is the thing that I did next. And my problem with it is it's just not easily intuitive. The music doesn't feel the way it sounds in your hand. The way that I would start is 3 notes, 3 strings. So we get C, and then D minor, E minor, F, G, A minor, B diminished, and C. Like so. And it very clearly lays out musically what's happening, and you can both feel it and hear it, and you learn all of the shapes of those first inversion triads. For what it's worth, you can see, I'll pause the share for a second. I'm actually using with my right hand, I'm doing a little hybrid picking. So when I do this, I'll play up with the pick and then down with the pick and then the third string with my middle finger. You could pick it however you like, but I tend to like to do that when I'm doing groups of three things. I can use 3 motions, and again, the kinesthetic feeling of that feels like what the music sounds like, and I personally like that because I want to feel my music. Okay, fine. I played like C, D minor, E minor, F, O, G, A minor, B diminished. I played that B diminished. I was thinking of playing the B diminished this way. just a second ago, but the way I planned it, let me play that again. I'll start from the second measure. So G, A minor, B diminished. And so you still get some chord shapes. You don't have to move all the way up and up the neck, but you get that same advantage. And the nice thing about this is that this is one of 6 permutations that you could do with a root position triad. You're playing the 3rd first, and then the root of the triad, and then the 5th. So those shapes and that movement would work with any permutation you wanted to do. You could do 5th root 3rd, 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 and you can pretty easily port it over. And you've got the same thing, whereas in position, you'd have to really reconfigure your hands. The changing, if you go third root 5th, I'm already confused. So now what I do, 5th root 3rd, it totally changes your left hand. Whereas in order to, if I use the example I just showed you, this one, all I have to do is change my right hand. So I like it personally a lot better to play it that way. It's like I was initially saying, I think that there are just some types of ideas that are more conducive to shifting rather than just playing in position. And while I'm talking about that for 1 second, I will just preach about that, which is to say that position playing comes from classical guitar playing. So a lot of the original jazz pedagogy is based upon that, and you find a lot of position playing with the older guys from the 50s. You know, Barney Kessel, Joe Pass, all of these guys. And then when you move past those to the newer generations, and really it's like after we've discovered the music of India in the West, people discovered, oh, playing up and down on one string, that's a smart thing to do. That's a lot you can learn there. And there's a lot of mixtures of things you can do. And if you really want to check that out and check out where I got my thinking about what I'm talking about with this stuff, The Advancing Guitarist by Mick Goodrick is a phenomenal book and goes into some of these topics about different ways of improvising in position versus up and down. And to me, it's about finding the right technique for the musical idea that you're trying to express, the one that feels most true to it and is easiest, absolutely, because technique is about finding the easiest way to do anything. And so that's what I'm exploring here tonight when we're talking about Jens Larsen. Okay, 1 second. One thing that's worth noting about this approach, just going up a single set of strings, is you will have to practice this on each set of 3 strings. This is on the set of 5 and 4 and 3, which are tuned, you know, the A and the D are a 4th apart and the D and the G are a 4th apart. So the shapes are a particular way, the triad shapes, as it will, and they are the same shapes on the 6th and 5th and 4th string. It's exactly the same shapes, but higher up on the neck. But when you move over to the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd strings, you have different shapes. And so to learn this particular method of going all the way up a set of strings, it's going to be necessary to address each set of 3 strings. 6, 5, 4, 5, 4, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 2, 1. Okay. So then let's look and see what we did next. Okay, so then you can do this resembling. That's what I was just doing, is sort of resembling position playing, but with a little bit of shifting back and forth. We did that. And there's a number of ways you can do that, but one thing that will be helpful to look at, I'm going to move this idea up here on the neck. It's let me show you that. So if I do the same type of playing, and just say I'm going to play 2 triads on each set of strings, I end up moving down the neck as I go up in pitch. and then I have to go up. Watch that again. I'll start C, up to D minor, and then down to E minor, up to F, down to G, up to A minor, and then B diminished, C. So you might use 3 triads on some sets of strings, maybe 2 there, and now 1, 2, 3, up to G, and then A minor, and then B diminished, C. 2 and 2 groups of 3s. That's a great way to play 8 things. 2 3s and a 2. But if you experiment with that method, with these smaller problem sets and more problem sets, I find, for me, I'm going to find a more fluid way around these ideas. Okay, what else did we get here? These next 2 measures, take a screen grab, are kind of what I just laid out. C, D minor, let's see, there's D minor, and then E minor, F, different version of it, but the same basic idea. A minor, O, B diminished, C. Same thing I was just talking about. There's some fingerings here. Okay, there you go. Now, this is another type of compromise. Let's see. Oh, so this actually combines using fingerings that are both 1 note per string, like we were doing, and a couple of fingerings that are 1 note on 1 string and 2 notes on the other. So this one goes like take a screen grab, and then I'll play this for you. So let me look at that though while I'm at it. Which one is that? Okay, there it is. So you start with this one. So the first 3 triads I've grouped together with kind of a phrase marking. And then you get that same type of idea. So this is C, D minor, E minor, and then F, G, A minor, 3, 3, and then 2. B diminished. Feels pretty intuitive to me. Like I said, I could invert those triads just by playing differently with the right hand. So I like it. It's got good, what I call kinesthetic musicality. It feels like it sounds. Okay, I'm going to go back to the screen share. Okay, fine. So, oh boy, this one goes on and on. Look at all these ledger lines. It's nuts. I don't know if I'm going to go that high. Okay, this is something that I found out. If you phrase it a little different, it'll sound, I think, more musically interesting and give you a little forward motion. In the tab here I wrote for my students, phrasing this way gives more forward motion, Bach-like or bebop-like, but I put Bachy-boppy because I was feeling a little silly at the moment. And then these are the fingerings that I played around with, at least last week when I was doing this. So the idea is I'm starting on the last 2 notes of a group of 3 instead of starting on the first note. So I'm starting like a pickup. And so each group is going to go like that. And you still hear the pattern. Oh, and if you do a pull-off, it's pretty fun. And I think it sounds musical and it sounds interesting to me and it sounds like more like a musical phrase to me. And you can use 2 different types of articulations and move. Okay, take a screen grab. And then I can show you. You can do different types of articulations. First time I do a pull-off. Second time I'm going to do a slide. Then some more pull-offs. Whoops, I goofed. You can keep going all kinds of ways. There's all kinds of ways to approach it. But what I like about it is it gives it that more forward motion. I'm actually starting on the upbeat and driving to the downbeat. Oh, I'll do it the way I did it. So. What happens next? I forget. Oh, there it is. And up and up and up and up and up. You get the idea. And it just phrases it a little bit differently. I don't have that one quite as much under my hands as I did last week, but I really like the way that one sounds, and you can get some really nice musical articulations. So there you have it. Hopefully, maybe some of that was helpful and useful to you. There's a lot of cool things you can do with triads, and you could take any of those ideas and you could start on different notes of the triad. That last bit would actually work out some very interesting musical permutations. So thanks for watching. Please like, comment, whatever, and subscribe. Tell your friends. And yeah, thanks for watching. One more thing, as Columbo would say. The thing about the fingerings in Jens's wonderful book was that confused me is that I have to think about them, and I forget who said it, but thinking is the enemy of flow. And so anytime I can make something more intuitive, it's going to be more useful to me. Anytime I can take something and put it into smaller problem sets, break a bigger problem into smaller problems, is useful to me. Okay, now I'm really done. So thanks for watching. Like, link, subscribe, tell your friends, smash that button, get the notifications. I promise I won't bug you too much, and enjoy. Thanks for watching.